Hey everyone, welcome back to 54th channel. Today we're diving into finance. Let's be real, picking a major or figuring out your career path is a big deal for most of you. And finance has always been a super popular choice. Why do people go for finance? It's fancy, it pays well, it's right in the thick of money matters, and the career prospects are solid. That's exactly what I thought back in college, so I went ahead and majored in it. But here's the thing, finance is a huge industry with so many career paths. Banks, investment banks, brokerages, funds, insurance, trusts. The list goes on. When I was in school, no one ever bothered to explain what finance actually is or how all these jobs differ from each other. So today, I'm gonna break it down for you from a practitioner's perspective, explaining finance in the simplest way possible, from version 1.0 all the way to 5.0. Let's kick things off with version 1.0, the most basic form ever. Imagine hundreds of years ago, there were zero financial systems or institutions. Nada, I-54 was a total broke guy, but I make keener fried rice, so I wanted to open a tiny fried rice shop, but I needed startup cash. Then it hit me. My neighbor Steve had stashed some cash under his mattress. He was a total baller. I went to him and said, "Hey Steve buddy, I want to open a fried rice shop. Can you lend me $100? Business will be booming as well. I'll pay you back 110 with interest." Steve thought about it. My cash is just sitting under my mattress. It's not gonna grow wings and lay money eggs.
Nope.
Might as well lend it to 54. I'll make an extra 10 by the end of the year. So he lent me the money. The cash moved from Steve's mattress to my pocket and became the seed money for my fried rice shop. This, my friends, is Finance 101, version 1.0. It sounds simple, but it sums up the entire essence of finance. Finance is just money flowing to where it can create the most value. Let's break down the example. Steve earned $10 interest. I got to open my shop, and everyone got to enjoy delicious fried rice. That $100 under Steve's mattress made everyone's life better. In fancy terms, it boosted overall social welfare and improved the resource allocation efficiency. Now let's move to version 2.0. My fried rice shop was killing it. Business got better and better, so I wanted to open a branch. But that meant I need more cash. Problem was, Steve's mattress was empty. He lent me all his money, and I didn't know any other Steves. And I wasn't the only one needing cash. Sam's Bakery, Tom's Shoe Factory, Williams Restaurant, they all wanted funds too. None of them had the connections to find their own Steve. So what did we do? We needed a middleman, and banks were born. That's version 2.0. The big difference from 1.0, we added a middleman banks, and banks are game changers. First off, they gather all the Steves. Everyone can deposit their cash in the bank. Then, all us as borrowing shop owners can go to the bank to borrow money. Banks help money flow better and allocate resources more efficiently. And they're not dumb. They earn a little spread between the interest that pay depositors and charge borrowers. Everyone wins. Isn't that brilliant? Now it's so mainstream that we take it for granted. Only a total dummy would stash cash under their mattress these days. Everyone puts it in the bank to earn interest. Next up, version 3.0. My fried rice shop was still thriving, but I kept borrowing from the bank. And there was a catch. No matter how much money my shop made, the interest I paid the bank was fixed. No interest means no risk, right? So if I had a super high-risk project, the bank would never lend me money. They'd be scared I couldn't pay it back. Let's say I wanted to develop a zero sugar, zero fat, zero calorie quantum weight loss fried rice. That's a huge gamble. It could be a game-changing product that takes over the market, or it could flop hard. Everyone would call me a scam artist and avoid it like the plague. The bank would definitely say no to funding this. So what did I do? I needed to find investors who were willing to take on high risk for the chance at high returns. I hunted around and found another Steve. Let's call him Steven. I said, "Hey Steven, wanna be my partner? This is risky, but it's got massive potential. We split profits 50-50. We win together, we lose together." Steven thought I was a solid guy and my fried rice was top tier. So he put his cash out at the bank and invested in my shop. That's version 3.0. Partnership. In other words, money from people who want high returns flows to high-risk, high-reward projects. The fancy term for this is equity investment. Steven, the guy who put in the cash, is an investor. The most famous example of this, Silicon Valley legend Peter Thiel. In 2004, he spent $500,000 to buy 10.2% of Facebook. In 2012, he sold those shares for $1 billion. That's a 2,000 times return in just 8 years. Compare that to putting money in the bank. You'll be lucky to double your cash in 8 years. That's equity investment at its finest. Now we're at version 4.0. My fried rice empire was still expanding, and I needed even more cash, but I couldn't find enough Stevens to do equity investments. But now, another middleman popped up. These are the folks we call investment banks, brokerages, or financial advisors. Their whole job is to connect people like me with people like Steven. Here's the thing about version 4.0. Investment bankers live and breathe in this circle. They have way more investor connection than us entrepreneurs. They also know how to package your project to make it look shiny for the big shots. It's like how some coders can build a killer product but can't make a decent PPT to save their lives. That's where investment banks come in. Don't worry, pay us and we'll handle everything. We even round up all the Stevens you need. So these banks connect more Stevens and more 54s, making resource allocation even smoother. But here's a crucial difference between investment banks and the version 2.0 banks. When a bank lends you money, it's using its own cash, earning a spread, and taking on the risk if you default. Investment banks, they're smarter than that. They're just service providers. They match you with investors, take a service fee, and wash their hands of the rest. Whatever happens between you two after that, not their problem. Finally, version 5.0. My fried rice business was so successful that regular folks started wanting a piece of the pie, and I needed their cash too. This is version 5.0. 54's fried rice shop offers shares to the general public. Even small-time retail investors could buy in and become shareholders. This is what we call an IPO, the fancy ringing the bell moment everyone talks about. Exchanges like the NYSE, HKEX, and SSE are where this magic happens. Unsurprisingly, the middlemen from version 4.0, investment banks, are usually involved here too. They're not just finding individual investors anymore. They're helping you go public. By version 5.0, basically everyone's spare cash can be invested in different channels based on risk tolerance, earning corresponding returns, and projects of all risk levels can get the funding they need through these channels. But in the real world, it's way more complicated. Millions of 54s, Steves, Stevens, and middlemen all tangled together. That's why the financial system feels so massive and overwhelming. But at its core, it all boils down to what we just talked about. Let's quickly recap the three main roles here. First, fundraisers. People like me, 54, folks who need money to start or grow a business. Second, middlemen, the folks who connect fundraisers and investors. Third, investors. Whether it's debt or equity investment, Steves and Stevens fall into this category. In the real world, these roles aren't just individuals. They can be institutions or companies too. And big companies, they do it all. Think of how massive companies like Alibaba, ByteDance, and Tencent started as fundraisers, but as they got bigger and richer, they launched their own investment divisions. So now they're investors too. Companies like Alibaba and Ant Financial even act as middlemen. They basically do everything under the sun. Let's break down how these roles work in real life for us regular folks. If you have some spare cash and put it in a bank, you're already contributing to the financial system. You're a debt investor pumping money into the system. If you buy a company stock, you're an equity investor. But some of you might say, I'm not a pro investor. How do I know if I should buy shares in Tom's Fried Rice, Sam's Fried Rice, or Steve's Back Shop? Enter funds. Funds are a broad term. Basically, they pull money from lots of people and invest it in specific products based on certain goals. Private equity funds, venture capital funds, pension funds, hedge funds, they're all funds. Why do they sound so complicated? Because sometimes you invest in fund A, which invests in fund B, which invests in fund C, which finally invests in my fried rice shop. It's layers upon layers of wrapping, making it super confusing. And when my shop makes money, every layer takes a cut. But don't think taking a cut is a bad thing. Every link in the chain takes some risk and earns a corresponding return. It's just a way to allocate resources more efficiently. Now let's talk about those middlemen, investment banks. Names like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, CICC, and Citi are the classic examples. They can help you issue stocks, issue bonds, or go public. If you have a capital market need, they'll work their tails off to make it happen. For a fee, of course. Beyond IPOs and stock bond insurances, investment banks also provide services in the secondary market, the place where stocks and bonds are traded after they are issued. Want to buy special products like derivatives? They've got you covered, adding liquidity to the market. That's why investment banks are often called the sell side. They sell services, plain and simple. And then there are the big companies that mess with our understanding. Alibaba, ByteDance, Tencent, they started as classic fundraisers. But they grew richer, they launched their own investment arms, and even became middlemen. They basically do it all. So at the end of the day, finance is all about making sure money gets allocated in the most reasonable way possible. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and never miss out on more awesome content. Catch you next time!